Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We have an action packed day. We have some volatility happening here in the cattle, some news overnight in grains. We did have the Fed cut 0.25% yesterday, but that wasn't really that big of a market mover. So we're still digesting the news from the election. President Trump elect is starting to get his cabinet together. That's a much different president than we had in 2016. So a lot of things in play. Excited for North Dakota's very own Doug Burgum. He's in play here, and to see where him and others that worked so hard on that campaign end up. Let's go to LaSalle Street. Then we're going to go to Wall Street. Then Brady and I are going to talk a little bit, and we're going to get ready for that USDA report here at 11 o'clock. Corn up 2 3/4. East corn up. Call it up 3 4/30. I have no beans up. Let me get that switched to Jan because Nov's so getting a little past tense there. 1024, call it 1025, and Jan beans down 2. Meal down 20. Oil unchanged. Soybean oil has been a big leader in oil-led bean rallies. Not exactly what impresses the bulls, but yet we did have an impressive rally yesterday in beans backed up by some sales. Border trade wheat up 4, KC up 2, hard red spring up 1. Cattle, we got a problem there. Brady will break it down. Live cattle D's down 200, feeders down 200. Yes, folks, cattle can go down with bullish fundamentals. Hogs down 100. Dow Jones up 120, S&P's up 12, NASDAQ down 15. Big volatility as we head over to Wall Street. 2s, 5s, 10s, 30s, all up a little bit. Rates are calming down with that Fed move. Gold, silver, copper, all lower. Gold down 8, silver down 20, Dr. Copper down 10. Crude oil down $1.50. Drill, baby, drill. Let's see how low that can go. My friend Carly Garner said technically if we get below 63, we could go down to 52. But those are people looking at charts and everything else. Natural gas up 37. Bitcoin down 76,500. What a week for the Bitcoin bulls. They are having a good day, a good week. And congrats to them for sticking with it. So many people have said that's fake news, but I guess we look at it as a storage of wealth. B. Huck, welcome to the show. See what's going on. Let's go through the headlines one by one. We'll break them down here. We sold some stuff, right?
Yeah, good to see these export flashes continue to come. 107,000 metric tons of beans to China, 132,000 beans to unknown, and a little bit of corn to unknown. So unknown and China on the screen here with the export flashes this morning. It's good to see those pop up every day at 8, Tommy.
Yeah, absolutely. Rains in the plains. What do you got there?
Oh boy, you know what? I love waking up to green on the radar. Wish it was green on the screen, but we had a little moisture out there, kind of swampy out here. So drought busting rains across the plains here of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. It's great to see. I'm going to flash the radar up real quick. Get a good look at this in my backyard here. Great to see across Kansas, the state of Kansas, into Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle. That's good for wheat country, Tommy. So love
Absolutely.
it.
And wheat, not really. I don't see it being too affected by that. What's the average rainfall for you in your area, Brady?
Good question. Yeah, I mean, the western edge, it's 13, 14, 15 inches of rain a year. As you go east across the state, it gets to 20, 25 inches. But yeah, 1 to 3 inches in the month of November is huge for us out here. Be significant.
When do snowflakes start to fly? Just like everyone else here in the Midwest, or you guys can stay a little warmer for longer?
That's a good question, Tommy, because at any point in time, we can get snow. It can snow in late September, 1st of October, and sometimes it can be 80, 90 degrees on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we're out throwing the football around on a beautiful day. So volatile type of weather where we can have a big dynamic range. But October timeframe is typically when I say we transition into that winter type of feel. It's sweater season, though. I'm having to put the coats on and the sweaters and trying to figure out where I left which sweater and what vehicle. Got a pile of sweaters in one truck and don't have it in the other that time of year.
Late yesterday afternoon, we go in our household from heat on in the morning to air conditioner in the afternoon. The way our house sits, we get these wonderful sunny afternoons. It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Right off the bat, the thing that caught my eye on the quote board was cattle down. I'm so used to them being down a little and down 50, up 100. The cattle opened lower and then went a bunch lower, a bunch being 200 in each. What do you know there?
Yeah, cattle market taking it on the chin here today and rolling over, testing the bottom end of recent ranges. But we had pretty low exports yesterday, the marketing year low exports, and then the cutout also rolled over yesterday. Cutout's actually down. We were printing 320 week ago, and here we are, down $8 versus a week ago at 309.46. The chuck and lean beef, Tommy, that's what's lean beef market softening up. This is a time of year where we see some more cull cows come to the market, and typically we just see the cutout roll over and soften up into November and December. So some seasonal pressure, and then maybe some lean beef falling apart. But the chuck is down $25 versus a week ago itself. That's one cut of the primal, and it's a big cut of the primal. It's almost 30% of the primal, Tommy, of that cutout. So the chuck and lean beef market kind of weighing on cutout. So interesting though, as the stock market chugs higher and has that big surge. We've seen strong packer, buying the last few weeks, but the pace of that's kind of softening up here. And guys looking at maybe some steadier to lower cash trade on the fat cattle side of things here this week. Nothing traded yet though.
Well, there is big risk. I've listened to so many different people talk about the what could happen here in cattle, and they have such bullish fundamentals, and then you have to say, but we've had bullish fundamentals for a long time and seen both $10 and $20 breakdowns, and that's scary. So we do need to be aware of that. Talk to us a little bit, because you do sell LRP, and that has helped a lot of people sleep at night, and there's some benefits to it.
Yep. No, the LRP is a great foundational risk management tool to establish a floor, pay at the back end. You either get a bill or a check on the back end of it. So the cost of it and how you finance it is a huge piece of why it's such a good tool to use. And then you combine it with what we do with futures and options, and we have the ability to manage it. And if the market presents the opportunity to protect more dollars, we have a plan for that. If the market breaks down and you've got some equity in that LRP, we can go out there and do some things to protect that equity when these markets get volatile and sell off. Tommy, the cattle market, the scariest thing for me right now is that big fund long position. We know how quick those funds can run for the exits, and funds are nearly long 100,000 on the fat cattle side of things and 10,000 on feeders. That's a big long position. It's not a massive long position, but it is a sizable long position where if they decided they wanted to go to the exits, that would sell this market off in a hurry.
Yeah, and you have the cattle, folks in cattle who are extremely long also, right?
Yeah, naturally long, and it's long. This year's calf crop, calves on the ground that they're weaning right now, and next year's calf crop, they got those cows out there. One of the hardest things to hedge is the value of the cow itself. These cows and the bull, your herd value. $1,000 cow, cull cow, is now $2,000 $2,000. You take these cows. We were joking as we walk through and we sort cows out, because we did some breeding yesterday, Tommy. We bred 75 of our registered fall cows yesterday. Busy day. Glad we got to do it before the rain. But when one of those cows misbehaves, Tommy, you're wondering, you don't know how close you could be to being hamburger if you made a bad decision here and acted the wrong way.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. What cell phone carrier do you use? Are you Verizon or AT&T?
I do a local. It's United Wireless. That's my plan. It's a local business, and I'm not sure who they're kind of tied to, but
you know who's got better coverage than Verizon?
Who's that?
Trump. Look at this red map right here. Look at that. This is true. Look at those blues. Look at those reds flying around the internet. My kids just ordered shirts. Trump, better coverage than Verizon. Can you hear us now? Well, the election went different than people thought, and it's amazing. I mean, there's this guy I was on Vance Crowe podcast a few weeks ago, and he said, give us someone you despise. And I said, Anthony Scaramucci. He's just a toolbox. But Anthony was, he had the shortest, he was on the Trump communications team for 10 days during the first time President Trump was president. And then he freaked out, got fired. And then he went all in on Team Biden, Team Harris. Mm-hmm. And every day, Anthony Scaramucci would put like 20, 30 reasons, they're cracking, and I have inside sources. It's a disaster. It's going to be a sweep. But this morning when I was driving to go work out, they had Anthony Scaramucci on CNBC. Now, you got to understand, this guy was a lifelong Republican who had spent hundreds of hours on CNBC. So when he's on with Joe and them in the morning, or the other guy on there, it's interesting because he just trying to backpedal, and pretty much he said, though, but when you say so many things and it's out in public domain, it's pretty hard to backpedal. But the guy they had against him was how do you say it? Not Varam, but Schwami. Like the guy is just the best debater in the whole world. And it was just interesting to talk. So I've watched a
Yeah.
little bit of The View this week. They're freaking out, and I mean there is no way to explain that map except for the people voted, and that's what they're thinking. And I live in between a couple of these blue counties here in Indiana. I actually live in Porter County, but Lake County, where I grew up, is extremely blue, and but it is unbelievable. So I'm very happy that the process worked. I'm happy that the results were in so fast. The markets digested it. If you like learning about markets, the bond market immediately sold off around 6 o'clock at night, then more at 7 being sold off in the open, and then a bunch. And from a market perspective, it was over at 8, 9 o'clock. Now results kept coming in, and now we have to deal with those results. Stock market zooming up. We just had Dow Jones make a high a little bit ago, S&P. But that doesn't mean that cattle can't go down. You want to talk about that one more time? Because I do want to say I was in a meeting and there was a legendary cattle broker and he was extremely upset with LRP. He said, because LRP, I've lost half my business. I guess my advice to him was, take the book, take the test and go do it. But talk about LRP one more time.
Well, that's nail on the head right there, Tommy G. I mean, LRP, we were forced into this business. It's a marketing tool that is tied to insurance. And, you look at kind of what we do, we are very much kind of selling options as insurance for our customers. A put floor is an insurance type tool, a floor price. And LRP is just a government subsidized floor price. And you kind of get forced into going into that business if you're going to be a legitimate cattle hog broker, because it's just a solid tool to use for risk management. But it's not a standalone tool. That's how I believe in what I believe in it is. It's a tool that allows you to get something established, but you can then take what we do with managing volatility and managing a moving market and really add a lot of value and enhance what that tool can do for you to get control of these markets, embrace volatility, and just not be a victim of the funds exiting or a headline risk out there. Just don't be a victim of the market. Get control, do things that you can do to take control to prevent that from happening.
Awesome. Let's go through what we're doing today. This is the Live at 9 show. Tommy Grisafi, Brady Huck. You and Connor are going to go at 10:45. I'm going to take that off. The boys down in Bloomington are going to go at around 1:30. That should be great. Last night, I did a little premium Fed cuts a quarter in USDA Friday. Talked about the effect of both of those. Nice little 11-minute video. And again, here, I think this is today. I think this is who we have lined up, November 8th. Brian Bastine and Nate Duraco and Michael Reginelli should be a good little lineup. I like watching those guys. They find little things in the report that May didn't. Today's premium, real quick, is going to be about the USDA. The USDA gave that projection, and a little surprise, the USDA thinks by 2034 or 35, the national corn average will be 200. We'll break that down. Maybe you and I and Connor. I'd like all three of us if we could break it down. And if there was ever a printed piece of paper from the government that says we believe you're going to get better at yield and prices are going to stay lower for longer, that's that document right there. You take into what's happening in interest rates, and we could have a little bit of a challenging time here in agriculture. There's folks who say the government's going to come out and write a check and make it all better. That's fine. But you also have Elon Musk in there who says we need to find a way to cut $2 trillion. And I don't think it's by giving out tens of billions. We give out a lot of money to a lot of countries, a lot of people, and for many reasons. But it's interesting.
Interesting times ahead, Tommy G. A lot of emotions too. And this has been a big week of emotions. You know what? I'm ready to get past this day, Friday, get to a weekend, take a little breath of fresh air, and come in next week a reset. But first, we got to see what the USDA prints on this big report here coming up in the hour and a half, 2 hours.
Questions, comments from the peanut gallery? We got one right here.
Oh, look at that Connor B. I remember him. Make soy oil great again. True that. Soy oil has been on a tear, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, remember I always tell you about my nephew, my godson, who goes to Columbia University?
Yeah.
Did you know that some of the professors at Columbia and Harvard canceled classes yesterday so that the kids could mentally rest from that from the beating they took, I guess. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but there's some soft people in this world, low testosterone or something. But I can't imagine that if I was a professor, I'd say, well, our team lost, take the day off. What is going on in the world?
I don't know what to say, Tommy. You know,
Well,
I
I
got
love
friends on
America,
both
and
sides, and I love them, and I care about them, and I want us to all get along, get together, and you know,
no,
we got some stuff to work out and figure out, and hopefully we
you
can
want
move
no
on, move forward
secret?
together.
I'll have to be cremated because I'm not going to find 6 people to carry my casket, so I can give a shit at this point. All right, Brady Huck, Dodge City, Kansas. Tom Grisafi, Valparaiso, Indiana. Catch us here at 10:45. We'll see y'all shortly.
See you, Tommy.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.